Sit down and breathe. Not fast, not deep, just slow enough to feel yourself again. You have been holding tension in places no one sees, in your jaw, in your chest, in the space behind your eyes. You wake up already tired, not because you worked too hard, but because your mind never rested. You learned to survive, not to live. Life kept asking you to bend, and you bent, again and again, until bending felt normal. But listen to me now, carefully. You were not meant to be weak. You were not designed to wake up afraid of your own thoughts. You were not built to doubt your worth every time silence enters the room. You were not born to shrink your presence so others feel comfortable. Weakness is not who you are. It is something that happened to you, and anything that happened can be undone. You were strong before you learned fear. You were confident before you learned shame. You were calm before the world taught you to rush. Somewhere along the way, you forgot. That forgetting was not your fault. Pain trains people to forget their power. Rejection trains people to question their value. Failure trains people to lower their expectations of themselves. And slowly, without asking your permission, life rewrote your identity. You stopped trusting your instincts. You started asking others what you already knew inside. You waited for permission to be yourself. That is not weakness. That is conditioning. And conditioning can be broken. Real weakness is not feeling tired. Real weakness is believing you are small. You are not small. You feel overwhelmed because you care. You feel heavy because you carry responsibility. You feel lost because you are between versions of yourself. This is not collapse. This is transition. Strong people often feel weak right before they evolve. Think about this. The muscle shakes before it grows. The storm gathers before it clears. The mind resists before it stabilizes. You are not failing. You are recalibrating. Your nervous system has been on alert for too long. Your body learned survival. Now it must relearn safety. That takes patience. That takes stillness. That takes compassion toward yourself. You were never meant to fight yourself, yet you do. Every morning you wake up and judge yourself for not doing enough, for not being enough, for not becoming who you thought you would be by now. But growth is not linear, strength is not loud, and progress is not always visible. The strongest people in the world are not those who never fall. They are the ones who stop punishing themselves for falling. You have been too hard on yourself, not disciplined, not strong. Hard. There is a difference. Discipline builds. Harshness breaks. You do not need more pressure. You need grounding. Right now, your mind is scattered across too many timelines. Regret pulls you backward. Fear pulls you forward. And the present moment, where your power lives, is being ignored. Strength lives now, not in memory, not in imagination. Here, when you slow down enough to feel your body, when you stop explaining yourself to people who are not listening, when you stop arguing with reality. Acceptance is not surrender. Acceptance is strategic clarity. You cannot move forward while fighting what already is. Strong people do not waste energy resisting the truth. They observe, they adapt, they act. Weakness reacts, strength responds. Reaction is fast, response is deliberate. Right now, you react to thoughts as if they are commands. They are not. A thought is just a sound in the mind. You decide which ones get authority. You were never meant to obey every thought you have. Some thoughts are fear pretending to be logic. Some thoughts are trauma pretending to be intuition. Some thoughts are old wounds pretending to protect you. You do not silence thoughts by force. You outgrow them by clarity. Clarity comes from stillness. That is why silence feels uncomfortable at first, because it removes distraction, and distraction was your shield. But shields also block growth. Sit with yourself long enough, and you will notice something important. Under the anxiety, there is intelligence. Under the fear, there is awareness. Under the tiredness, there is strength waiting to return. You have not lost yourself. You buried yourself under coping mechanisms, scrolling, overthinking, people-pleasing, avoidance. None of these make you weak. They show you were trying to survive. But survival is not the destination. You were not meant to just survive. You were meant to stand. Stand in your body. Stand in your values. Stand in your decisions. Even when your voice shakes. Even when your hands tremble. Strength is not the absence of fear. Strength is movement despite fear. Every time you chose to continue, even when you wanted to stop, you proved something to yourself. You may not remember those moments, but your nervous system does. That is why you are still here. Weak people quit internally long before they disappear physically. You did not. You questioned. You doubted. You struggled. But you stayed. That matters. And now, it is time to stop living like someone who is waiting to be rescued. No one is coming to save you. And that is not a tragedy. That is freedom. Because the moment you realize this, you also realize something else. You do not need saving. You need remembering. Remember the version of you who stood back up without applause, who kept going without certainty, who carried pain without becoming bitter. That person still exists. You just stopped listening to them. Pause now. Feel your breath, not to change it, just to notice it. That awareness is strength returning. This is only the beginning. Stay where you are. Do not rush. Let the silence settle for a second. You do not need to understand everything right now. Understanding comes later. Stability comes first. Your body has been in defense mode for too long, always preparing, always anticipating, always bracing. That is exhausting. You learn to tense before life could hit you again. You thought that was strength. It was protection. Protection has a cost. It hardens the heart. It narrows the mind. It keeps you alert but never at peace. You were not meant to live like this. Strength is not constant tension. Strength is the ability to relax without fear. The strongest animals in nature rest deeply. They do not waste energy. They move only when needed. You have been moving all the time, mentally, emotionally. That is why you feel weak, not because you lack power, but because you are leaking it. Your energy goes into worrying, into replaying conversations, into imagining outcomes that never arrive. The mind was never meant to live in the future. It was meant to guide action in the present. When the mind loses its anchor, the body suffers. That tightness in your chest, that heaviness in your stomach, that pressure behind your eyes. These are not signs of failure. They are signals. Signals asking you to slow down, to listen, to return. You were taught to push through everything, even pain, even confusion, even exhaustion. But wisdom knows when to push and when to pause. Right now, your strength returns through pausing. Pausing does not mean stopping life. It means stopping resistance. You resist where you are. You resist who you are. You resist how long it is taking. That resistance turns effort into suffering. Acceptance turns effort into direction. Accept that you are tired. Accept that you are learning. Accept that you are not who you were. This is not defeat. This is maturity. Strong people accept reality quickly. Weak people argue with it endlessly. You have been arguing. With time, with outcomes, with yourself. That argument has no winner. Let it end here. You do not need to prove your worth to anyone. Your existence already did that. You are alive. You are aware. You are capable of reflection. That alone places you ahead of most. The world rewards noise, but strength grows in quiet places, quiet mornings, quiet decisions, quiet boundaries. You do not need to announce your growth. You need to live it. There is a moment coming in your life where you will notice a change. It will not be dramatic. No fireworks. No sudden confidence. Just a calm refusal. Refusal to over-explain. Refusal to absorb disrespect. Refusal to abandon yourself. That is strength. It starts when you stop negotiating with what drains you. You give too much to what does not feed you. Your time, your attention, your emotional energy. Strength is selective. It chooses where to go and where not to. You do not need to harden your heart. You need to guard it. There is a difference. A guarded heart is open but discerning. A hardened heart is closed and defensive. You were never meant to be closed. You were meant to be centered. Centered people cannot be easily shaken. They bend, but they return. You are learning how to return. Every setback you survived quietly trained you. You learned patience. You learned observation. You learned restraint. Even when you thought you were falling apart, you were being refined. Fire does not destroy gold. It reveals it. Pressure did not ruin you. It shaped you. But now the season changes. You no longer need to prove resilience. You need to embody it. That means fewer words, fewer reactions, fewer emotional bargains. It means choosing rest without guilt, choosing solitude without loneliness, choosing clarity over chaos. Your nervous system needs safety before your confidence can grow. Safety does not come from control. It comes from trust. Trust that you can handle what comes. Trust that you do not need to predict everything. Trust that you are allowed to move at your own pace. Rushing is fear in disguise. Calm is courage. When you slow down, your intuition becomes audible again. It has been speaking the whole time. You were just too loud inside to hear it. Listen now. There is a quiet knowing in you. That does not panic. That does not rush. That does not beg. That knowing is strength. It does not scream. It waits. And it has been waiting for you to stop running. You were never meant to escape life. You were meant to meet it standing. Standing does not mean aggressive. It means grounded, feet planted, breath steady, eyes clear. You do not need certainty to move forward. You need presence. Presence dissolves fear. Fear cannot survive attention. It thrives in avoidance. Turn toward what you feel, not to drown in it, but to acknowledge it. Feelings pass when they are felt. They linger when they are ignored. You are not weak for feeling deeply. You are untrained in regulating it, and training can begin at any moment. Right now, notice your breath again. Let it fall naturally. That is you choosing calm. Every time you choose calm, you weaken fear. Every time you pause before reacting, you reclaim power. This is how strength returns, not through force, through consistency, not through dominance, through self-respect. You will notice it soon, in how you speak less, but mean more, in how you listen more, but absorb less nonsense, in how you walk away without explaining why. That is not coldness, that is clarity. You are not becoming distant, you are becoming selective. Weak people attach to everything. Strong people choose deliberately. You were not meant to carry the weight of the world. You were meant to carry yourself well. And you are learning how. Stay here. Do not rush ahead. Stay with me. Nothing needs to be fixed right now. Nothing needs to be rushed. You have spent years trying to become stronger by forcing yourself, by pushing through, by ignoring signals. But strength does not grow under punishment. It grows under understanding. You were taught to be hard on yourself. You confused self-criticism with discipline. That voice in your head that keeps saying, "You should be better by now," is not wisdom. It is pressure wearing a familiar mask. Real strength speaks differently. It says, slow down, learn, adjust. You do not rise by attacking yourself. You rise by standing beside yourself. You have been living as if rest must be earned, as if peace is a reward for suffering. That belief keeps people weak. Rest is not quitting. Peace is not laziness. Stillness is not failure. Stillness is where power reorganizes itself. Look at your life honestly. You have survived moments that once felt unbearable. You adapted to realities you never thought you could face. Yet, here you are, breathing, listening, aware. That alone proves something important, Sokisa. You are stronger than the story you tell yourself. But strength unused feels like weakness. Power without direction feels like confusion. That is what you are experiencing now. Not emptiness, not collapse. Transition. You are shedding an old identity. One built on fear, on approval, on constant effort. That identity kept you safe once, but now it limits you. Growth always feels like loss at first. You lose certainty. You lose familiar patterns. You lose old coping mechanisms. The mind panics during this phase. It calls it weakness. It is not. It is reorientation. You are learning how to live without tension as your default state. That takes time. You have trained your nervous system to expect danger everywhere. So calm feels strange. Peace feels suspicious. Silence feels uncomfortable. But that discomfort is the sound of unlearning. Stay with it. Do not run back to chaos just because it feels familiar. Familiar does not mean healthy. You do not need to return to who you were. You are becoming someone more stable. There will be days when motivation disappears. That does not mean you are weak. Motivation comes and goes. Identity stays. Strong people do not rely on feeling ready. They rely on values. Values move you, even when emotions fluctuate. You are building that now, quietly. No one needs to see it. You may notice that fewer things impress you now, that fewer arguments pull you in, that fewer opinions disturb your peace. This is not detachment. This is grounding. Grounded people are present, not reactive. They observe before they act. They listen before they speak. They feel without drowning. That is mastery. Mastery is calm under pressure, clarity under noise, stability under uncertainty. It is not dramatic. It is consistent. You will not announce this change. Others will feel it. They will sense it in how you pause, in how you choose your words, in how you do not rush to explain yourself. Some will misunderstand this. Let them. Strength does not need permission. There is a version of you that does not apologize for existing, that does not chase validation, that does not collapse under criticism. That version is not created. It is revealed. You peel away fear, and it appears. You peel away urgency, and it appears. You peel away comparison, and it appears. Comparison weakens people faster than failure. You were never meant to measure your life against someone else's timeline. Different paths, different lessons, different pace. Your pace is not wrong. It is honest. Honesty with yourself is the foundation of strength. When you stop lying to yourself about what you feel, about what you want, about what drains you, you stop bleeding energy. Energy saved becomes power. Power conserved becomes confidence. Confidence grounded becomes calm. This calm is not passive. It is alert without tension, focused without force. You begin to respond instead of react. Someone disrespects you. You do not explode. You do not explain. You adjust access. Why? That is strength. Something does not align. You do not panic. You do not overthink. You step back. That is strength. You feel fear. You do not shame yourself. You do not obey it. You breathe. You observe. You move anyway. That is strength. You were not meant to live at war with yourself. You were meant to lead yourself. Leadership starts internally. You do not need to dominate life. You need to navigate it. Navigation requires awareness. Awareness requires presence. Presence requires slowing down. Everything returns to this. Slow does not mean stagnant. Slow means deliberate. A slow river cuts through rock. A rushed one spills everywhere. You are learning to flow again. You will stumble. You will doubt. You will feel old habits calling. That does not erase progress. Progress is not perfection. It is direction. And your direction is clear now. Toward steadiness. Toward self-respect. Toward inner authority. You are done living as someone fragile. Even if your hands still shake sometimes. Shaking does not mean weak. It means alive. Let the shaking pass. Stay upright. You are not broken. You are becoming precise. You are not weak. You are recalibrating strength. Stay present. Let the weight you have been carrying begin to loosen. Not all at once. Slowly. You have lived for too long with your shoulders raised, as if danger could appear at any moment, as if rest would make you vulnerable. That posture became normal, but normal does not mean healthy. Your body learned to brace before life touched you. That constant bracing is what made you feel weak. Strength does not live in tension. It lives in stability. When you release unnecessary tension, your power becomes available again. Notice how different it feels when you allow yourself to soften without collapsing. Soft does not mean fragile. Soft means responsive. The strongest materials in nature are not rigid. They bend. They adapt. You are learning how to adapt without losing yourself. That is real strength. You were taught that confidence looks loud, that power demands attention, that control requires force. Those ideas exhausted you. True confidence is quiet. It does not compete, it does not rush. It knows who it is even when no one is watching. You are becoming that kind of person, not through motivation, through clarity. Clarity removes friction. Friction drains energy. When your mind is clear, your actions feel lighter. You stop forcing outcomes, or you stop chasing approval. You stop overloading yourself with unnecessary expectations. You begin to move with intention. Intention feels different from pressure. Pressure comes from fear. Intention comes from alignment. Alignment feels calm, even when the work is hard. You are discovering this now. There will be moments when old habits try to pull you back. Moments when anxiety whispers, "Be careful, do more, control everything." Pause in those moments. Ask yourself quietly, is this necessary? Or is this fear trying to lead again? Fear is loud but repetitive. Wisdom is quiet but precise. You already know the difference. Trust that. Trust grows when you keep showing up for yourself. Not perfectly, honestly. Honesty is a form of courage. It takes courage to admit you are tired, You are uncertain. You are still learning. Pretending to be strong is exhausting. Being grounded is sustainable. You do not need to prove resilience anymore. Your survival already did that. Now you build stability, I guess, Steve. Stability is boring to those addicted to chaos, but stability is powerful. From stability, you can think clearly. You can choose wisely. You can respond instead of react. Reaction is automatic. Response is conscious. Conscious action is where strength lives. You are learning to pause between stimulus and response. That pause is not emptiness, it is control. In that pause, you reclaim choice, and choice is freedom. Freedom does not mean absence of responsibility. It means absence of inner resistance. You still show up. You still do the work, but you stop fighting yourself while doing it. Life becomes quieter, not easier, but steadier. You stop catastrophizing small setbacks. You stop interpreting discomfort as danger. You begin to see challenges as information. Information helps you adjust. Adjustment builds mastery. Mastery is calm repetition, not emotional intensity. You do not need to feel inspired every day. You need to feel anchored. Anchored people do not drift far, even in storms. They feel the wind. They acknowledge it. They remain rooted. You are becoming rooted, rooted in your body, rooted in your values, rooted in your sense of self. This rooting process takes patience. You cannot rush roots. They grow underground before anything appears above. Do not judge your progress by what others can see. Measure it by how you feel inside. Are you reacting less? Are you pausing more? Are you choosing peace without guilt? These are signs of strength returning. Not the kind that intimidates others, the kind that stabilizes you. People may not understand this change. Some may feel uncomfortable around your calm. That is not your responsibility. Your responsibility, Bess, is to stay aligned. Alignment creates boundaries naturally. You stop overgiving. You stop over-explaining. You stop overextending. Not because you became selfish, because you became aware. Awareness conserves energy. Energy conserved becomes presence. Presence deepens relationships that matter, and distances those that do not. This is not loss. It is refinement. You are refining your life by removing excess noise. Noise in thought, noise in emotion, noise in expectation. Silence is not empty. Silence is organized power. Sit in it. Let it recalibrate you. You will notice soon that you do not need to defend your strength. You do not need to announce your growth. It will be felt in your posture, in your pace, in your eyes. Eyes that are no longer searching for permission. Eyes that are steady. You were not meant to live afraid of your own depth. You were meant to inhabit it. Depth does not rush. Depth does not compete. It simply exists. You are returning to that depth now. Stay with it. Let the quiet do its work. You do not need more words right now, but they will come slowly, like breath returning after a long run. You have lived in reaction for too long, always responding to what life throws at you, always adjusting to others, always explaining yourself. That way of living slowly erodes strength, not suddenly, gradually. You begin to feel unsure even when you are right. You hesitate even when you are capable. You second-guess even simple choices. That is not because you are weak. It is because you have not been anchored. An unanchored mind drifts. A drifting mind feels powerless. Anchoring yourself is not about control. It is about orientation, knowing where you stand. Even when the ground shakes, you are learning how to stand. Standing does not require stiffness. It requires balance. Balance comes from knowing what is yours to carry and what is not. You have been carrying emotions that are not yours, expectations that are not yours, urgency that is not yours. Set them down. You are allowed to move at your own pace. You are allowed to pause without explaining. You are allowed to change direction. Strength includes permission. Permission to listen inward. Weakness lives where permission is denied. You deny yourself rest. You deny yourself grace. You deny yourself patience. Then you wonder why you feel depleted. Imagine speaking to yourself the way you would speak to someone you respect. You would not rush them. You would not shame them. You would not dismiss their effort. Do the same now. This is not softness. This is leadership. You cannot lead yourself with contempt. The mind follows tone. The body follows trust. Trust is built through consistency. Small, consistent acts restore strength faster than dramatic effort. Wake up and breathe consciously. Eat without distraction. Walk without rushing. These are not small things. They are signals. Signals that tell your system you are no longer in danger. A nervous system that feels safe releases creativity, releases confidence, releases clarity. You have been trying to think your way out of exhaustion. You cannot. You must feel your way back to stability. Feeling does not mean drowning. It means acknowledging. Acknowledge fatigue. Acknowledge fear. Acknowledge uncertainty. Do not argue with them. Do not analyze them endlessly. Let them be present without giving them authority. Authority belongs to you. You decide what moves you. You decide what deserves your energy. You decide when enough is enough. These decisions do not require loudness. They require certainty. Certainty grows in silence. The more you sit with yourself, the less external noise controls you. You stop reacting to every message, every opinion, every expectation. You begin to respond only when it aligns. Alignment feels like relief. Relief is a sign you are on the right path. You may feel guilt when you stop overgiving. That guilt is not truth. It is conditioning leaving your body. Let it pass. You do not owe everyone access to you. Access is earned through respect. Respect begins with self-respect. Self-respect changes posture. It changes tone. It changes pace. You walk slower, not because you are tired, Because you are no longer chasing. Chasing is a sign of lack. You are not lacking. You are learning to stand still and let what belongs to you come closer. That takes courage. It is easier to chase than to trust. Trust feels risky, only because you have been disappointed before. But disappointment did not destroy you. It taught you. You learned discernment. You learned boundaries. You learned restraint. These are strengths. You may not feel powerful yet. That is normal. Power often feels quiet at first, like a room after noise stops. At first it feels empty, then it feels peaceful, then it feels stable. You are in that transition now. Do not fill the silence too quickly. Let it settle. In that silence, you will begin to hear your own direction again. Not fear, not urgency, direction. Direction does not shout, it guides. It says, this matters, this does not. Follow that voice. It will not lead you into chaos. It will lead you into alignment. Alignment makes strength effortless, not easy, but clean. Clean effort does not drain you, it sustains you. You were not meant to live drained. You were meant to live directed. Directed people move with calm authority. Authority does not demand attention. It commands respect through presence. Presence is built moment by moment, by choosing awareness over distraction, by choosing honesty over performance, by choosing steadiness over speed. You are doing this now, even by listening. Stay with it. Stay here. Let the mind settle a little deeper. There is a quiet fear you have not named. The fear that if you stop pushing, everything will fall apart. So you keep pushing, even when you are empty, even when you are unsure. But look carefully. Things did not fall apart when you rested for a moment. They fell apart when you ignored yourself for too long. You confuse pressure with progress. They are not the same. Pressure breaks people. Progress builds them. Progress moves at a human pace. Your pace. You were never meant to live like a machine. Always on. Always available. Always producing. That life disconnects you from your instincts. And without instincts, strength fades. Strength is instinct aligned with action. When you ignore your instincts, you hesitate, you doubt, you feel weak, not because you are incapable, but because you are disconnected. Reconnection begins now, not through force, through honesty. Ask yourself quietly, what am I avoiding feeling? Not fixing, feeling. Avoided emotions do not disappear. They become tension. They become fatigue. They become anxiety. When you allow yourself to feel without judgment, the body releases what it has been holding. That release feels like relief. Relief is not weakness. Relief is recovery. Recovery is strength rebuilding itself. You have been living in depletion mode, running on reserves. Reserves do not last forever. The body knows this. The mind knows this. That is why you feel heavy. That is why focus feels difficult. That is why motivation comes and goes. Nothing is wrong with you. You are just overdue for alignment. Alignment happens when actions match values, when pace matches capacity, when effort matches meaning. You have been giving effort to things that do not matter deeply, that drains the spirit faster than hard work. Hard work with meaning strengthens. Busy work without meaning weakens. You feel weak because you have been misdirected, not because you are incapable. Capability returns when direction becomes clear. Direction does not arrive through panic. It arrives through stillness. Stillness is not empty time. 'Tis listening time. Listen now. There is a part of you that knows what matters. It has always known. You silenced it to survive. Now you can hear it again. It speaks softly, but clearly. It tells you when to stop. It tells you when to move. It tells you when something is no longer aligned. Ignoring that voice is exhausting. Following it feels risky at first, but risk is different from danger. Risk is growth. Danger is staying disconnected. You have been safe but stuck, protected but drained. Now you learn to be grounded and alive. Alive does not mean reckless. It means engaged. Engaged with your breath. Engaged with your body. Engaged with your choices. You stop living in your head all the time. You return to your senses, feeling your feet on the ground, feeling air enter your lungs, feeling your body support you. The body is honest. The body does not lie. It tells you when enough is enough. Listen to it. Strength grows when you respect limits. Limits are not walls. They are guides. People who ignore limits burn out. People who respect them endure. Endurance is quiet power. You are building endurance now, not by pushing harder, but by moving wisely. Wisdom feels slow at first, because you are used to urgency. Urgency creates noise. Wisdom creates clarity. Clarity feels calm. Calm does not mean passive. It means ready. Ready without panic. Ready without tension. That is the state you are learning to live from. From this state, you choose your words carefully. You choose your commitments intentionally. You choose your battles wisely. You stop fighting everything. You conserve energy. Energy conserved becomes presence. Presence becomes influence. You no longer need to prove strength. It becomes visible. People feel it in how you pause, in how you listen, in how you do not rush to react. Reaction is emotional. Response is powerful. You are learning to respond. Responding means you take a breath first. You feel your body. You choose your action. That choice is freedom. Freedom from impulsive reactions. Freedom from emotional spirals. Freedom from constant self-doubt. Self-doubt fades when you keep choosing alignment. Alignment builds trust with yourself. Trust with yourself is the foundation of confidence. Confidence is not certainty. It is self-trust under uncertainty. You may not know what happens next, but you trust yourself to handle it. That trust makes you unshakable. You are not there yet, and that is okay. Strength grows gradually, quietly, like dawn. No noise, no announcement. Just light returning. Stay with this process. Do not rush to label it. Do not rush to finish it. Let it shape you. Stay with me for a moment longer. This is where everything comes together. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly. You may notice now that something inside you feels steadier, not excited, not rushed, grounded. That is how real strength feels. It does not arrive like a wave. It settles like weight returning to the body. You stop floating. You stop bracing. You stand. For a long time, you thought strength meant never breaking, never doubting, never slowing down. That belief exhausted you. Strength is not about never falling apart. It is about knowing how to return to yourself. Every time you do, you return through breath, through presence, through honesty. You return by choosing not to abandon yourself. When things feel hard, that choice is strength. From this place, you no longer need to prove anything. You move differently now. You listen more than you speak. You pause before you act. You feel without being ruled by emotion. You do not rush to be understood. You understand yourself first. That changes everything. Life does not suddenly become easy, but it becomes clean. Less inner conflict, less self-betrayal, less unnecessary struggle. You stop fighting battles that were never yours. You stop carrying weight that does not belong to you. You simplify. And in simplicity, power concentrates. Concentrated power is calm. Scattered power feels weak. You are no longer scattered. You choose where your energy goes. You choose what deserves your attention. You choose when to engage and when to step back. This is not withdrawal. This is discernment. Discernment protects strength. You do not harden your heart. You steady it. You do not close yourself off. You center yourself. Centered people cannot be easily pulled apart. There will still be moments of doubt, moments of fatigue, moments when old patterns try to return. Let them come. They are not failures. They are reminders. Reminders of how far you have come and how clearly you can see now. You no longer confuse intensity with importance. You no longer confuse urgency with purpose. You trust timing. You trust process. You trust yourself. That trust is earned. You earned it through endurance, through reflection, through staying present when it would have been easier to escape. You are not weak because you feel deeply. You are not weak because you needed time. You are not weak because you questioned everything. You were becoming aware. Awareness is the root of strength. From awareness comes choice. From choice comes direction. From direction comes calm confidence. This confidence does not shout. It does not compete. It does not seek approval. It simply stands. You stand now, not rigid, not defensive, balanced. If life pushes, you adjust. If life pulls, you ground deeper. You bend. You do not break. This is who you were meant to become. Not fearless, but steady in fear. Not perfect, but present. Not loud, but unshakable. Remember this: whenever doubt returns, whenever pressure rises, whenever the old voice tries to tell you that you are not enough. Pause, breathe, feel your body, and remember, you were never meant to be weak. You were meant to be aware. You were meant to be grounded. You were meant to be strong, in a quiet, enduring way. Walk forward slowly. Stand tall without tension. Your strength is no longer something you chase. It is something you live from. Stay steady.